Hey guys, welcome back to the Music Hole. My name is Cole, and today we're talking about another Steve Albini production, Superchunk's infamous indie rock masterpiece, No Pocky for Kitty from 1991. And when I say indie rock, this is basically, like, along with Pavement, what I imagine indie rock sounds like in general. It's just a really fun, energetic, kind of punky album. I really like it, and I hope you guys find it interesting. So I'm excited to share some clips with you guys. Let's start with track number 1, which is an explosive, energetic, memorable beginning. The name of the song is Skip Steps 1 and 3. Yeah, I mean, what a classic song. It's just such a great way to start the album. And I can identify with these lyrics, right? Because it's about a guy who's complaining about a friend who sounds very anxious, right? And I'm anxious. So I'm the kind of guy who doesn't skip step 1 and 3. I think about all of the possible things that could go wrong instead of just saying, like, okay, I want to play pool tonight, so just go to the pool hall. You know, what I think about is like, oh, but what if nobody's there? What if I have to wait for a while for people to show up? Or, you know, what if I look ridiculous? My hair doesn't look right. You know, any number of things I think about. So the main character on this song is one of those people who doesn't have these issues. He says he's going to do something and he does it. He doesn't think about all of the BS that would prevent him from doing it, that would make him hesitate, right? He just goes straight for it. He skips steps 1 and 3. So I kind of envy our main character here a little bit because I don't have that ability. But I can identify with this frustration with people like me. But anyway, so that's skip steps 1 and 3, a favorite track of mine for sure. But let's talk about track 2, which is another winner. It's called Seed Toss. Yeah, the name of this song is perfect, right? It's called Seed Toss, and it's basically about a total alpha male who's going to do whatever the heck he wants to do. He's going to sleep with as many women as possible, and he's going to be the dominant person in any relationship, right? He's just a manly man. He's a tough guy. And I love all the different ways that they describe this person on this song. It sounds like they don't have a lot of respect for this guy, you know. I would imagine. It sounds like this type of person really annoys the songwriter, which is understandable. I mean, it almost seems like too absurd to actually be real, right? Are there actual people like this who have no real genuine emotions and who aren't a little sensitive, maybe a little romantic, you know? Do people like this actually exist, right? Is maybe what the songwriter is thinking. But of course they do, right? I mean, Donald Trump, for example, is definitely this alpha male type who does not care whatsoever about how you think or feel. So anyway, I like this song a lot. It's very, very memorable. It's very catchy. But that's all I want to say about it. So let's talk about track 3, which is called Cast Iron.
You see everything with those glasses. My eyes, the color of molasses. All you have to do is ask is all, and I'll tell you.
Yeah, man, I dig the philosophy in this song, right? It's a little humorous. It's about a guy, you know, an old man sitting on his front porch in his cast iron chair, and he's got all this life experience and wisdom that he would love to bestow upon a younger person, if only they would ask. But of course, nobody ever asks them for advice, so he'll probably die without ever doing something like that. But it's interesting commentary on life, right? Because most people in general don't ask older people for advice, you know. And of course, most older people have dealt with a lot of hardship and they've learned from their mistakes, more or less. And I'm sure that if you just ask them, they would provide you with a lot of wonderful tips. But I think part of it probably is a pride issue. You know, we all like to think for ourselves, and we like to imagine that we've got it all figured out on some level. And so it's a kind of pride thing where we assume that we've got it all figured out, when of course we haven't. So we screw up inevitably. But if we had asked someone older than us, someone possibly who's been through a similar thing, we wouldn't have made all these mistakes. So life has this weird cycle, right? It's with every new generation, it's this constant cycle of people making the same mistakes over and over again. So it's kind of funny if you think about it like that, and a little bit sad. But anyway, so I like this song quite a bit. It makes me think of a few things. But that's Cast Iron. So let's move on to track 4, which is called Tower. Yeah, so this is a strange song, I'll admit. But what it makes me think about is it makes me think about people who think of themselves very, very highly when in reality, you know, like this woman in the song, I didn't clip it, but right after this clip, she mentions that she's a waitress and she listens to people's problems all day at like her diner job or whatever. But like in her mind, she thinks that she's hot stuff, and probably she thinks that like, oh, if only people were smart enough to realize how good she was, then she would, you know, her life would be improved so dramatically. But for some reason, nobody's aware of how amazing she is. So I imagine this person has a superiority complex a little bit. So she gets up on her tower. I'm guessing metaphorically, you know, and it sounds like she's venting all of her frustrations out at the beginning of the clip, right? She has a bomb, she has a plan, she kills imaginary men. So what that means to me is like, you know, at her job, she's listening to these people's stories about their day and about their families, and she's nodding along. But in her mind, she's like, you guys are so stupid. Like, I don't want to listen to any more of your stupid stories. Like, you can all just screw off as far as I'm concerned. So she's very frustrated. She thinks very highly of herself, but it's not very justifiable. Like, she's probably not that smart or that interesting, but she thinks she is. So this is what I think about when I listen to this song. If you guys have some theories about it, I'd love to hear it. You know, what are your interpretations of Tower? But anyway, so that's track 4. Let's move on to track number 5, which is called Punch Me Harder. Yeah, I've always thought of this as commentary on what it would be like to have, you know, basically an infinite amount of money, you know, to be so rich where your life is essentially easy mode. And the only times that you feel alive is when you have manufactured drama or when somebody like literally punches you, right, as he says, punch me harder so I can feel it. But then it also mentions that this guy likes to steal even though that he can buy anything he wants, right? The reason that he steals is because it creates tension, it creates drama, it makes him panic a little bit, right? It gives him feelings that he rarely ever experiences on his own because his life is so easy. You know, he doesn't experience hardship or challenge, so he has to manufacture challenge, you know? So it's a weird kind of life existence that is the reality for, you know, not that many people, but it's a reality for some people. So it's kind of an interesting song, you know, it's an interesting topic. I like it. But let's move on to a few tracks from now. I'm going to skip a few tracks. We're going to talk about track number 8, which is called Tie a Rope to the Back of the Bus.
Level that house, tie a rope to the back of the bus. Suck it all out, take a straw to the rest of the dust. Taking pictures of the wall and put this in the corner.
Yeah, oh man, I love this song. I love the chugging guitar work at the beginning. And I like the lyrics a lot because, you know, what he's saying literally is tear down your house, make sure there's nothing left, right? But metaphorically, what he means by that is sometimes you have to just let certain things go in your life and you have to start over, right? You can't think about the fact that, like, oh, but I've already invested so much stuff and so much of my time in this one pursuit that how can I possibly give up at this point? But as the songwriter says, sometimes you just got to tear down the entire house, even though you've been working on this house for your whole life. Sometimes you got to just recognize that things are not going the way they should be, that you might be pursuing something that isn't worth pursuing, and you just got to tear down the whole thing and start over. So I like this song quite a bit. It makes me think of that, which I enjoy. But anyway, I'm going to skip track 9 and go to track number 10, which is called Sidewalk. So let's check it out. Yeah, this relationship sounds awful, right? It sounds like the guy might even be like a psychopath or a sociopath. And like he enjoys being with this girl, but he doesn't really feel that deep emotional connection that she does towards him. And, you know, he doesn't understand why she's crying about, you know, the situation that they're in. Because it sounds like maybe he's either an abusive person or he's not committing to her completely, and it's really frustrating this woman, right? She's probably head over heels for this guy, but the relationship is kind of a crappy relationship. It's probably even abusive. So like this guy doesn't understand why, you know, if she hates it so much, why can't she just leave, right? And then also another interesting point he makes, right? He says, I bought you a map, and I think you'll find in any other sidewalk, it's the same old cracks. So like, as far as he's concerned, I guess the problems that they're having in this relationship are going to be problems that she'll have in any relationship. So like, from his perspective, why worry about something that'll be the same in any relationship you involve yourself with? So like, it's a very strange, it's a very strange relationship. I don't know exactly what's going on with these two people, but this poor woman is very emotional. She's very much in love, but she doesn't quite understand the fact that her man is a little bit of a sociopath. So, geez Louise, our poor woman. But anyway, that's Sidewalk. I'm going to skip the next track, and the last clip I have for you guys is from the final song. It's called Throwing Things, so let's check it out.
Going up the street like a thief, I skin my back.
Oh my goodness. So we had a sociopath on our last song, but now it sounds like we're dealing with a total creeper with this guy, right? Because he's saying that the girl is up in the tallest tree, throwing things down at him, and he's crawling around trying to get towards her. So it sounds like this guy, for whatever reason, is totally head over heels for this girl who doesn't like him whatsoever, right? He probably even does really weird stuff, like visit her at work or something. You know, maybe she works at like a department store. So he goes to work, or he goes to her work and says all these creepy romantic things. And she's like, can we talk about this later, please? Right? So that's what I imagine this song is pretty much about. It's about a guy who, I don't, you know, for whatever reason, he's totally clueless and he doesn't get that this woman wants absolutely nothing to do with him. So this poor woman, right? The women on this album are not faring very well. But anyway, this song is extremely catchy. I think it was the lead single, and the music video for it is pretty cool. So I recommend checking it out. So it's a pretty wild way to end the album for a couple reasons, right? It's a pretty like creepy song, but then also it's such a high note to end the album on, as far as I'm concerned. It's probably the best song, to be honest. But anyway, so that's No Pocky for Kitty. It's an indie rock classic, as far as I'm concerned. It's probably their best album, you know. They've made several pretty good albums, but this is my favorite one. So I hope you thought it was interesting. I hope you enjoyed it. But as always, feel free to let me know in the comments what you thought about it. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Do you have some interpretations you want to share? I'll check them out. And if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. It'd really help me out. But yeah, that's Superchunk. That's No Pocky for Kitty. Check it out and have a good one.